Morning YouTubers, it's Rockabilly Steve here with lesson number 9 and introducing our instructor. It's on a Saturday morning with Shazza.
Good morning everyone. So today I'd like to ask Susie to come and join me. And today we're learning Rockabilly rocks and what I call silhouette. The reason it's called silhouette is because it's like the female is shadowing the male in the move. I also came country today because a lot of young ones are dancing rockabilly and it's called country rock. And so, yeah, a bit of country rock is happening all around these festivals. We live in Queensland, Broad Beach, and everyone's coming up and there's a lot of rockabilly happening at Broad Beach at the moment. So let's start with last lesson. So lesson number 8 was called Spanish Arms, and what we did do is lead the lady's hand up above her head and turn her left hand down as she turned. Today we are now going to place that right hand underneath our elbow, and the footwork for the gentleman is away from the lady, into the lady, away from the lady, into the lady. The lady's footwork doesn't really change. She's rocking heel out, heel out, heel out, heel. The guy's going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Now remembering last lesson, we were saying do not pull the lady's arm up her back. She really needs to untangle on this move. The only way she can untangle her left shoulder is by us pulling it down as she turns out. Let it relax so that the shoulder untangles. We are now taking one arm up and the other arm down, exactly the same as in lesson 7. But underneath that elbow, once again, we want to do our rocks. Rock towards the lady, rock, away, rock towards, away, towards, away, towards, away. Now, what is going to happen is you're actually going to be facing nearly the opposite way than your female is. So she starts, turns to her right, and she is now facing that way, and we are facing this way. We start our rocks, she rocks out to her left shoulder, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. Important thing, remember, do not pull the lady's arm up her back. And we take the lady out to a return, and then we face the other way, and rock and 2, and rock. So as my right foot is going, my right arm is coming towards the lady. We do the same thing to get her out. Underarm turn, and rock 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2. One more time, we're taking the lady's hand out, down her back, around and beat 2, beat 2, beat 2, face out and rock 2, rock 2, rock 2. Now I'm going to try that again to the beat so that you can keep practicing all the way around. Maybe 2 or 3 rocks, it doesn't matter. If you forget what you're doing, just rock 7 times. And then go, now how do I get out of this? It's always a return, the same as what we learned. Underarm turn, bring her back for a return. It's the same thing. Underarm turn, return. Lesson 7, lesson 9, 8. What lesson are we up to?
Well, 9.
9. So this is what we're adding at the moment. 2 lots of rocks today. So rock and rock, arm up, one arm down, the other arm up, and rock, rock, rock. And you can practice without your footwork, gentlemen. Just make sure that you're facing the opposite way than the lady. Let's give this a go. And 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We lead the lady up and 1 and 2. Rock 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We take the lady out, turn the other way, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We take the lady out. Now the way that the lady knows that we're coming out is as she's coming, rocking in towards you, that's when you leave this arm up to come out. You don't try and pull her out this way. It doesn't work. So as she untangles, we can then lift the arm up over her head, turn her under, one arm up, and underneath the elbow. Rock and 2, rock and 2, lead the lady round and rock and 2. Hoping you're keeping up here. 1 and 2, 1 and one more time. One arm up, the other arm down, and rock underneath. And 1, 2, 1, 2, one arm up and one arm down with the rock, 2, rock, 2 to get her out. Keep her there. Rock and 2 and rock and 2. Don't forget you always lead from the lady's hip to above her head, 2, 2, and opposite way. Now we're going to do 2 lots of moves today. The next move is called silhouette, and the reason we're doing these both together today is because they're about the only other move that you need to know before you start putting the lady behind your back. Any other move is normally going to have leads behind the back or turning the lady's arms the wrong way. There's going to be so many after our revision next week. So next week, number 10 is revising everything we've done from lesson to 1 to 10. So the next one, we've done an American spin, and it's called a khaki hand catch. So today is the first time we're actually doing both male and female gets the hand turned. Every other week we've had to turn the lady's arm down, but this week we have to catch in a funny handhold, not like a normal handhold. So I'm offering her my hand at the back, and it's just a normal shake of the hands. How are you today? All right, you don't need to have it all back to front or anything like that. She will then put her left arm underneath the gentleman's. We're leading, we need to have our arms free. It doesn't matter what she has. Now we're doing the same kind of rocks as in Rockabilly rocks. We want to use their outside foot, 1 and 2. We come in towards each other. Now in Rockabilly rocks, you actually had that arm going underneath the elbow, underneath the elbow. This time, you've not got that way, and you haven't got that way of making her rock. She just knows. Keeping the beat. By now, you should know to keep the beat to the music. 1 and 2. Now to turn the lady around away from us, you want to place her right arm. You give it a little bit of a pull, and the left arm you start to turn away. Now we're going to show you at the back, our hands are not holding grip. Like we don't want to break the lady's fingers as we do this turn. So we're about to turn away from each other. Starting to turn, if you have a look at our hands at the back, I do not have her fingers so tight that she's going to break them or I'm going to break them as she turns. So we're just practicing going back around, away from each other. You must practice these moves. These moves are going to start getting more harder and harder, and you are going to hurt someone if you do not practice to be relaxed. Turning away from each other. Turning away from each other. You should then be able to see this is just a way of holding. You can't pull her arm up. Once again, it will not untangle. If you're going to pull anywhere, pull down as you turn. Give that nice relaxing action. Pull down as you turn to give that nice relaxing action. Now as we do this last turn, we're going to do our rock so that we can come back and face you again. So we're starting to do our turn, and it's an outside foot. Outside, inside. Outside, inside. Still relaxed in those palms. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And when you're ready, gentlemen, you then can either give the lady a little bit of a with your thumb, to turn. So we're going to try this again. Start with your left hand, therefore ladies' right hand, and we're going to start your rock, always left foot, left hand. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. American spin, this is called a khaki hand catch. Noticing that the lady's hand's funny, the gentleman's hand's funny. We don't want to dance like this very often, but by giving her a signal here, now remember that she can't see it if you're scratching your bottom. Alright? She needs to see it there. You're then turning her in and she can catch underneath your elbow. The lady needs to be underneath your elbow. Feet her out. 1 and 2 and rock and rock. This is called a silhouette because she is now shadowing exactly the same as what you're doing. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. I turn the lady around with the outside foot and in. Out and in. Out and in. I turn the lady around and out and in. Out and in. Now, just remember, any of these moves can be done anywhere. The rocks are what's important. We're learning rocks today. So the first rock was underarm turn and rock, and return, and rock, and just normal turn. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. American spin and khaki hand catch and signal and rock and rock and rock and turn. Outside, inside, outside and turn. Keep the beat going. 1 and 2, and just like Spanish arms in number 8, you pull the lady's hand down and let go of your left hand, gentlemen. Pull it down. And we finish dancing 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Now we're going to practice that with some music. And I've been told to speak up if I want you to hear me over the music. So if you can't hear me, that's because it doesn't matter. You don't need to hear me.
Bye bye love, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness.
Okay, we're leading the lady up and rocking. I'm opposite her. When I'm ready, I change.
Hello emptiness, I feel like I could die.
When I'm ready to get out, I just drop it.
There goes my baby.
We're going to try it again. Lead the lady up.
She sure
Drop her out.
I sure am blue.
Take to the other side. And
Cheers.
Well done, ladies.
See you
Another good
later.
session.
Bye.